Welcome to the StockMiner.com studios. I'm your StockMiner Brian Johnson, and not much going on in the markets again today, as you can see clearly by the chart. We did have a move up. Well, we finished right around that 1109, 1110 mark, which we've been talking about in the S&P for overhead resistance. As you can see, very clearly shown here, a close at 10462. Where was the area I had talked about? 10480. That was why we were waiting for a break over that 10,500 mark. We never got it. Very slow trading. I talked about this yesterday, that if we just didn't see much in the first couple hours, it probably wasn't going to happen. And sure enough, we just didn't see anything. After the first couple hours, the trading went to basically nil, even into the end of the day. Sometimes the last 45 minutes, half an hour of Friday can get a little volatile as people are moving positions, but none of that happened whatsoever. So here we are, closing the week up. Very strong move in the markets this week as well, as we basically saw a small move up from here and then into overhead resistance and a stop. So there wasn't much to speak of this week, guys. It's pretty slow. Most of the moves obviously came last week. Little follow through again this week, but you can see that we did kind of get stopped by this 200-day moving average, kind of, sort of. We're just above it. I don't know. Is there a little bit more of a push to the upside? Sure, there could be. Leaving us once again in kind of a limbo type of a scenario where we could go anyway coming into next week's trading. Now, next week's trading is what? Options expiration week. So we're coming off of an abbreviated week right into options expiration week. Talk about extra volatility. We should see it next week. So we'll watch this very, very closely and see where we head. Let me chew on it for a couple days, but let's just look at what the overall market did for the week, and that was nowhere. What does that mean? Is it good? Is it bad? You know what? It doesn't mean anything right now. It's consolidation. It could be good or bad. Either side could take control, because none of them did this week, really, for the most part. We really didn't go anywhere. So, looking at it from the NDX on a 60-minute, you can see how we're up and touching this 1900 area here, pulling back ever so slightly. We talked about how that could add a little bit of resistance. Sure enough, it did. Finding a support back at 1880 again today, where the low was to 1879. So we're holding very nicely at the 1880 to 1900 range, which is what I would have expected to see. Not necessarily a move sideways, but I would have expected to see resistance at 1900 and support at 1880, which is exactly what we clearly have seen these last couple days. Now, the NASDAQ had a decent run. Notice where we closed above the 200, then back below, but only to come right back above it and close 3 consecutive days back above it. Is 1920 in the sights? You bet. Sure. Very, very possible that we could make it there come next week. From a weekly standpoint, we're above those moving averages, but did not close at the 1920-ish area. So we never had a run up to kind of close there. Will we touch it next week? Yeah, why not? We'll see if the marketeers decide to front run some of this, but certainly possible for us to make it up there. Look at the SPX in a very, very tight trading range up here, hitting that 1110 mark, never getting to the 1115. Obviously, breaks above that were trades. We saw none of that today. This is a great day to do anything else, as I mentioned that yesterday. This is a good day to do something else today. And as we proceed upwards, right now we're building what could be construed as maybe an ascending triangle, which means we could see just a little bit more of a pop to the upside come next week, but it's a little early. Let me chew on it this weekend and get back to you on Sunday. SPX leaning towards the 200. That's where it seems it wants to go right now. So we had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is where we finished. Then we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday into the end of the week. You can see from last week to the end of this week, nowhere. We've gone nowhere. We're stuck in this trading range waiting for the next major move to happen. SPX on a weekly also kind of above these moving averages, but not above the overhead highs that we were watching up here, 1125. Let's see if those get tagged next week. VIX on a daily ultimately down for the day, and pretty sizable move down, 3.5%, while still remaining barely up for the week. So lots of indecision on the VIX. We'll see if this can stretch itself one way or the other next week, but boy, for the time being, it's just very, very obvious that the market's really stuck in indecision down here, but more leaning towards complacency than really fear at this moment based on the VIX. Apple was up 34 cents today, but once again, pulling back here, kind of consolidating, very common. Look at this. This thing's up 30 bucks over the last week or so. So not surprising in any stretch to see that it's consolidating here, looking for its next move as well. From a daily, we've got a little black candle sitting right up here above support, and as long as it stays here, that's still bullish. Still bullish for Apple. So we'll watch that closely coming into next week as we hit the options expiration week. Notice how we're now back above for the second week in a row, the 20-week moving average. Looking for breaks up and above here could make for some very, very nice trades to the long side in Apple. FAS on a 60-minute going nowhere, up 13 cents, but really pulling back from our overhead resistance area. Funny how these lines work, huh? Working very well today, pulling back into here. Another line back that I had drawn here, you can see is bouncing between these two ranges, waiting for a break. Got none of it because the markets didn't go anywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of trading going back to last Friday, and we've gone nowhere. Nowhere. Consolidation. This could resolve up, still could resolve down. A lot of people out there are expecting it to resolve down, but I got to tell you, you got to keep your bias out of it. It goes one way or the other, period. Above 22, you want to look for your long, and back below this area, you want to look for a short. But until that happens, you're playing with fire if you're just going to guess at it. Let's just let the markets work it out for us. This is the best way to play these type of situations. FAZ, same thing. Gap down, move up, pull back, go sideways, do nothing. So if you didn't catch it in the first few hours of the day, you were done. There really wasn't anything else to do. On a daily, you can see we're going nowhere here. Still stuck between these areas. So, ultimately, not much to talk about on a Friday. We'll make this video very short. For the week, we're nowhere for the week. Abbreviated trading week gave us a red candle down and 3 white to cover back the ground that we lost, only to come back to where we were last Friday. Woohoo. So very slow week of trading. There were stocks that moved, but otherwise the indices really went nowhere. So let's chew on it this weekend. I am out of town. My Sunday video might be a little late in getting out. We'll see how things go, and I will I'll be back with you for sure again Sunday sometime, but it might be a little bit later. Might not be an afternoon video, might be towards the evening, but there will be a video. So we'll see you then. Bye.